Namaskar. Hello and welcome to P Guru's channel. I'm your host Sri Iyer. Joining me today is Lieutenant General Ravi Shankar. And General Ravi Shankar and I have not met in I think 4 or 5 weeks time. And we are back on regular schedule. And General Ravi Shankar is going to talk about Myanmar. What is really going on? What are the stakes involved? $25 billion worth of poppy cultivation drugs? Is that the thing at stake here? I mean, this is a mind-boggling number. So let's welcome General Ravi Shankar and let him lead this conversation. Namaskar, sir. How are you?
Namaskar and thanks a lot. It's nice to get back to P Gurus after such a long time.
Sir, the pleasure is all ours, sir. Our viewers have been looking forward to hearing from you. Viewers, most important thing, you have to like this video. New data is coming out about Myanmar that you have probably not heard anywhere. General has spent some time in this area, so he has first-hand information. If somebody does this, what does he really mean? That sort of nuances, everything will be in front of you. Sir, whenever you would like to start with the slide deck, sir, I'm just going to listen to the story.
Yeah. It's a story I'm going to spin today through a set of slides. So, yeah. Right. This is Myanmar. On the left is the complete Myanmar. And if you'll see, it is surrounded by India, China, Thailand, Laos, right? And all that. And to the south and east is, of course, Andaman Nicobar. The right map is the close-up of the area. You see the state of Shan, which is in dark brown to the east, which borders, China. That's the most interesting state. And today I'm not going to talk of Manipur and all. We'll talk of Manipur in the end. That's the interesting state. We'll talk most of that. Okay. But to put it in context, Myanmar is on the right. There are 4 states of ours which have borders with Myanmar. From the north, Arunachal Pradesh in yellow, Nagaland in blue, Manipur in green, and Mizoram in, again, a brownish color. Combined, this is 1600 kilometers of pure jungle, unadulterated jungle. So when people say, oh, fence the border, okay, you can fence the border. And a chap will go across the trees on the top because the border can be only 5-10 feet high. Trees here grow up to 50-60 feet, right? And when you walk on these jungles, you can't see the next guy ahead. It's such thick jungle. So, one has to take it with a lot of salt. Okay. Let's, Myanmar. I read this somewhere. I thought it might interest all of you. The problem with Myanmar is that it has a queen and a king, but they're not married to each other. Okay. Very, very interesting. Someone made this observation. It's not my original thing, but yeah. The second thing in Myanmar, which is a true, the Tatmadaw is the Myanmar army, is not the problem, but is part of any solution, any and every solution. Aung San Suu Kyi or democracy is not the solution, but is the part of all the problem. You see how it is. There is no solution, there is no problem in Myanmar. Everyone is part of a solution and a problem together. So it's a very complicated state if you don't understand it. I'm not going to go into the composition of the state. By and large, most of them are, tribals, except the Bamars or the Burmese, as we knew them earlier, who are the plainsmen. The rest, everything is all, hillsmen, tribes, complete tribes. So I'm not getting into it. It's something like our Northeast. Look at the resources. I mean, the resources are phenomenal. Gas, oil, renewable water sources, 3 major rivers, Irrawaddy and what's that? I forget again.
Mekong.
Mekong goes to Cambodia. The other one, that's Salween. Salween comes from the Tibeto Plateau. Okay. And, right, Arakonyama. Oh, fertile lands, lot of hydropower. Forest cover, 50% of the land area is forest land. And 90% of rubies, the world's rubies, come from Myanmar. And interestingly, It is firmly under the control of Tatmadaw. Complete. Okay? And Myanmar, over and above this, is also the main source of drugs in the infamous Golden Triangle. So, if you look at the Myanmar economy, 50% is its resources, natural resources, which it has. The other 50% is somewhere, I would say drugs. The first 50% is with the army. So, the army, you have to understand, in Myanmar is economically strong. In the other 50%, the drugs, it has got another 50% hold. It's got a very strong hold. The stakes are very high. Okay, and everything in Myanmar is pretty. Uh, it's a very completely controlled by the army. Okay, as simple as that. Right now, you look at the left. That's the Golden Triangle, which I've put in the map. Those dark brown areas are the places where poppy is grown well. Sometime back, poppy was the main cultivation in this crop, and heroin was the main trade in this area. Okay, there's nothing except jungles and water out there. Okay, now what happened? I'm going to take you to Afghanistan. When Obama went into Afghanistan and the Yanks went into Afghanistan, for the 20 years they stayed in Afghanistan, you'll be surprised. The poppy cultivation there quadrupled. Right? Here I've only said doubled soon after the invasion, but by the time the Americans left Afghanistan in 2021, the poppy cultivation had quadrupled in Afghanistan. As a result, the poppy cultivation in Myanmar flopped. Poppy cultivation, there's a glut of poppy and heroin in the drug market, so this stopped. But the Myanmaris were very smart. What they did was they shifted to methamphetamine. It's called meth, right? It is easier to produce, right? And Myanmaris mastered this. And where do they? And they got chemicals. You need a lot of chemicals to make this meth tablets. Now, where do these tablets chemicals come from? It comes from China and India. Sourcing is both. This is the funny part, and it's not the funny part. There's the part you have to understand. This entire industry was set up by the Chinese drug cartels. Okay? Now, and this became the biggest source of meth in the world. And the economy of this is about $10 billion. And the Shan state, which I said earlier, which is this dark brown area of the Golden Triangle, Myanmar, that is where meth is made and produced in quantity. If you look at the Golden Triangle itself, 70% of the area is Myanmar. Now, when the chemicals came from China and Manipur especially, not Nagaland, not Mizoram, Manipur, because Manipur is the road, Imphal, uh, Mandalay, it goes down to Naypyidaw. That's the main road. That's the alignment of the trilateral highway, which is to go east and connect up to Thailand. That's how the connections are. So, through these roads, existing roads, chemicals came from China and Manipur. Everyone thinks there is a problem between Methi and Kukis, which is ethnic and religious and all poppy and cock. Now, the thing is very simple. The Methi underground groups, were the ones who were getting all the chemicals for these Myanmar drug cartels from India. They were helped by the cookies. So they're drug runners basically, all these chaps. Now, as they did this drug running, they realized, oh, the temperature, the area, everything is the same in our area in southern Manipur. So the cookies started cultivating poppy, and a parallel heroin trade started. And this bungling was done by who? Methi groups. So there were someone who was doing the agriculture, then someone who was doing the transportation. Very clear. Okay. Now, this didn't happen overnight. Remember, I'm talking of the period from 2000 to 2022, 2 decades. And in Myanmar, this transition from poppy economy to the meth economy saw a lot of drug wars, ethnic conflicts, war, civil wars, etc., etc. Except at that time, no one bothered. From 2005 to 2015, the very ethnic groups which are involved today with the army were fighting with the army. So this whatever is happening in Myanmar is not new. This is the third or the fourth round of their warfare. Due to every war in this area, civil war has been triggered. Has been triggered by a change in the drug economy. Whenever the drug economy changes, there's a eruption and a war. And then once everyone knows his territory, the cuts are settled, everything settles till the next eruption. So what is going on today is the eruption. Okay. Now we'll examine this further. You look at this. This was the production of opium in Afghanistan. Funnily, when the Taliban came to power, they banned opium. So what happened? 99% of opium was eradicated from Afghanistan. It has been eradicated. In 22, it was only 5%. 23, it's almost 0%. Anyone who grows opium in Afghanistan, the Taliban takes care. So what happened? What happened was complete opium poppy cultivation came back in Shan state. When it came back in this thing, right? In 2021, 22 basically, the poppy cultivation shot up by 33%. The estimates for 2023 are it will shoot up by 88%. The regional market for heroin, as of now, is valued at $10 billion and growing. The meth market was $15 billion. So that is $25 billion. और $25 billion भाई किसी को पल्ले में नहीं पड़ेगा किसको पता है what is $25 billion right now here comes the understanding the complete CPEC China Pakistan economic corridor about which we spoke so much all of us have spoken so much about that stupid corridor you know how much China has invested or given as loans to Pakistan or whatever you call it complete investment into CPEC so far in the 3 years or 4 years from 2017 to today, 7 years, the investment is $21 billion. In just 1 year, the output here has lapped what is being invested in. What was invested in CPEC between China and Pakistan over 7 years. That is the kind of money which is there. Okay. Now, look at the flip side. Ever since this Tatmadaw came into power, there's been an economic contraction. Everything has broken. That there's no doubt. Over and above this Ukraine war. So, which means inflation has gone up worldwide. Everything in Myanmar has gone crazily costly. As a result, what do? People became impoverished. So, if people have become impoverished, then everyone is into the drug economy. Now the golden triangle is returning to its roots of poppy cultivation and also expanding the outside synthetic drug economy. Why? Technology. Technology and technology. Agricultural technology, AI and things like that. I mean, they are top of the thing. So it's a double bonanza for the drug cartels. So all fighting for turfs and expanding is for the expanding drug. Why? No one is interested in the democracy. So, Sri Ayarji, till now, if you have any questions, ask. Otherwise, I'll take it forward.
General Ravi Shankar, if it's all about drugs, and if India has successfully eradicated all the drug plantations inside its borders, then why is there a flare up in Manipur, sir? Because the drugs are being done somewhere else.
Yeah, we'll come to that. We'll come to that. You have a very valid question. We'll come to that. Drugs have been eradicated without an alternative, and the alternative is not, good enough. It's not attractive enough, right? Only poppy cultivation has been eradicated, not meth. I'll answer this question. Wait till the end, and then you ask me this question again, right? And mind you, the answer to this question of yours came out today in the print, written by my friend Snehashish Alex Philip. I've got this thing in the end. We'll talk about it. Very interesting. Okay, right. Look at this. Today, Assam Rifles have seized. I mean, the article is today. It might have come. The whole story would have been played out 5-10 days back. 9,000 Yaba tablets, also known as the crazy pill, worth 13.5 crores in Manipur. Just one bag, one sack. This much is 13.5 crores. Can you imagine? One pill of this, okay, is 5,000 bucks in Bangalore. You can imagine. What is Yaba? Yaba is meth with caffeine. And you get it in various flavors. You get it in coffee flavor, you get it in vanilla flavor, you get it in the flavor you want. And you can order for it. So now you got the answer. Why poppy cultivation? To hell with it. This is there. And when the whole heat goes down, the poppy will come up again 10 years later or 5 years later. So I would suggest everyone open this. It's today. Today only I saw. Snehashish today only tweeted this out. So have a look at it. And he's very colorfully put it out what it is. What he doesn't know, what he has not put out is the earlier part. The earlier part, the 2 slides which I put, is my investigation, my research. Okay. Now you look at this. You look at the opium yields and Myanmar. Whenever there was a perturbation in Afghanistan, yields have gone up here or down, right? You look at the right end, 2020, 21, 22, how it has gone up. So you have an absolute drug issue. Now we'll come to the civil war. Now we'll connect the two. What is happening, you understand. Generally, these violet dots are the places where this civil war is taking place. Rebel, all that, whatever you've heard. Where the maximum concentration is there, where I've written Operation 1027. What is 1027? It started on 27th October, 10 October, 27 date, last year. That is Shan State, and that is where, and it's there down below Shan State, but that is where all the drug cartels operate in the most good poppy area. There's a 3 brotherhood alliance. It consists of the Arakan Army, Myanmar National Democratic Alliance, and Tang National Liberation Army. They are fighting against the Tatmadaw. What are they fighting for? They are fighting against the Tatmadaw together. Arakan Army, incidentally, is based in the Rakhine state on the left corner, which I've said. They are going and fighting there. Why? It's all about drugs. They want their share of drugs. They don't want these drugs to go. They want their cut of the economy. Okay, the NUG, or this National Unity Government of Aung San Suu Kyi and all, they went and spoke to this 3 brotherhood alliance. So far, you name one, show me any one of you, one article or one report where the 3 brotherhood alliance has spoken of democracy. You will not find it. Okay, they don't support any democracy and all that nonsense. It's a out and out money making system. To the right and bottom, You see this Operation 1107. 1107 is what? 7th November it started. Who started it? It is some Karenini People's Liberation Front. They have started another front with 3-4 armies which face Thailand, because some part of poppy is grown there also. Then you have opposite in India, in the Sagaing and Chin states. Sagaing is opposite Manipur, Chin is opposite Mizoram. There you have Kachin Independence Army, Kawalin People's Defense Force, and the Arakan Army, and of course the Arakan Army. So all this is happening, right? No one has spoken of independence in Myanmar. Now, what is the connection with our groups? The Chin groups or our cookie groups. They are who are cookie Chin, Zo. These are all the same kind of people. These three are aligned with the rebel groups in Myanmar because they are also cookie and Chin groups, basically. Okay. So ethnically, they are aligned with them. The Manipuri groups, okay, the Manipuri groups or the Methi groups, right? UNLWA, all those nonsense. They're all with the Tatmadaw. So they are fighting, they're helping each other opposite. Now, when this, in the past 4-5 months, whenever there's an eruption of violence in Myanmar, these fellows get their friends from across. So it's a free for all out there going on in some manner. Of course, now things have stabilized. There's a front, there's a buffer zone, and all. We'll come to it in the end after we finish up with understanding Myanmar. Okay. Now, let me go back into the history of Myanmar. You see, the Communist Party, when it came to power in China, they drove the Kuomintang off into the Shan state, right? And then, now the Chinese formed the Communist Party of Burma. They supported them to sort out Kuomintang. So China, in that last century, instigated some kind of a civil war in Burma, for which the the then ruler, basically Aung San Suu Kyi's father, he reacted and he actually decimated the Communist Party of Burma. So this whole story has been going on. So, and then because there's so much drugs, everything out there, there are a lot of gambling and casinos, drug trade, and abductions, and all that criminality has started in the southern part of China, Yunnan province, bordering Myanmar on that side. So those fellows come here, okay, and abductions, all this happens, and for them, their adda is Shan. And from here, drugs go into China and wherever. And of course, they come to India. Now, I'm now talking of China only. So what is the range of operations? Drug smuggling, brothels, casinos, telecom scams, online gambling, cyber fraud, human trafficking, everything happens here. And the Chinese are fed up. Okay. So the Chinese police offer rewards up to $70,000 to $100,000. And many of the guys who are operating in Shan state are Chinese citizens. There are 5 powerful families which control most of the criminal activity in Kokang, which is in a region, the bordering region of China in Shan state. The mafia, the original mafia has a lot to learn from these people. When they come from Italy, they must be taking pre-course training here as to how to do all this. I mean, this is original, which we really don't know. Okay. Now, this is the CMEC, China-Myanmar Economic Corridor. All these points where activity China is doing in Myanmar. They want this port at Kyak Phu, and then they want all these roads, all that nonsense. Everyone thinks China is having a ball with this BRI into Myanmar, but the truth is something different. They are doing something, but the truth is different. Now, if fighting escalates in this area, which it is, the complete movement through this area is affected because the jungles are so thick in this area, you can only go by a few roads. You know, my mind goes back to this book called by John Masters called Road Past Mandalay. That Road Past Mandalay is a fantastic book. It talks about the Japanese war and the Battle of the Edmund Boxers, all that. So actually, from here, one road, Mandalay is the center point, a little north of Naypyidaw. One road goes into India, that is to Imphal, right? The other road goes into Yunnan Highway. So the Chinese are using this Yunnan Highway to build their BRI. Okay, but that comes through all these drug cartels and everything. So China supports most of these armed groups and pays them also. China pays protection money to ensure that the BRI is not disturbed. But at macro level, it needs Tatmadaw and the government to put its projects through. I mean, this is something similar to what's happening in the Northeast in our country from a long time. The center or the state makes a project, but to execute the project, you have to pay the groups off. China is doing that. The difference between us and them is, in our case, the army and the police forces and the armed forces were there to protect and kick the rebels out or minimize the rebels' hold on this. There's no one. The Tatmadav is not interested. Tatmadav says, you give me money and do your project. The rebel group say, tell China, you pay us the money and we'll let you work. So China is prepared to pay because it wants Kai Fu. That is the opening for China into the Bay of Bengal and its two ocean theory. Okay, so China is playing both sides and it has no choice. But what has China done? China controls all the arms in this area. So if you think the Chinese are this thing, no, they are as crooked as anyone else. Right? They give arms on an as required basis to each party. Right? Each rebel group. And they give it through the United War State Army. The United War State Army is the remnant or the successor group of the Chinese Communist Party. Right. So UWSA gives arms to all these people, and friendly groups get arms free of cost. So it's all graded. If you are a front to UWSA, and if China needs your force, then you'll get arms at very less rate. Otherwise, you pay through the nose. And this arms smuggling has found its way into India. Make no mistake, the entire Northeast is awash with arms. You can buy it like you can buy brinjols in a market. And I'm saying this with a lot of authority. Okay, I didn't know this market existed, and I'm now taking you back to 2007-8. So someone told me, look, there's a lot of Chinese arms floating in the market. You can buy. I said, look, can you buy? He said, yes, sir. Give me 10,000 rupees and I'll get you a weapon. So I gave a chap 10,000 rupees. 2 days later, he came back to me with a Chinese weapon. I asked him, where did you get it? He said, sir, I bought it from the vegetable market. This is the truth. Okay. So that is the reality. We have to live in reality, not live in some thing. So this is what the Chinese story is. Right. Now, the Chinese are worried about all this nonsense which is happening. So they're doing this live drills. These are all news reports from China. Now, I'm showing you. They're right. They're tightening up their borders. They don't want to spill over into their area. But they don't want to enter Myanmar also. So the PLA has been there, other side, in strength for quite some time. But they ensure they don't fire this thing. So they don't want to get involved. So in the way I look at it, PLA is damn scared and yellow to the core. They don't get involved with any fighting. China is only doing bribing out there. Okay, right. So now China is trying to say, okay, let's have border security, peace, everyone claims victory every second day there. Okay, but then Myanmar, this is what they want. They want the Bay of Bengal deep water port in Kyakfu. so that they enter the Indian Ocean. The moment they enter the Indian Ocean, I'll take you back to the map. Just look at this map. The moment they enter the Indian Ocean, the Malacca Strait dilemma is broken, because they are now in Bay of Bengal. Straight 200 kilometers of road. They hope that by the time this deep water port comes up and everything stabilizes, they would have bribed their way, and they'll keep bribing their way for things to go up and down. They have a larger game plan, but that game plan so far has not succeeded. It might not succeed also. That's my assessment. Okay. So, well, why? For the simple reason, before that, China might not even exist in the form it is, the way things are happening in China. But that is a thing which, to all viewers, I'm telling you today, tomorrow, self and General Rajiv Narayanan are going to examine if China is collapsing or not. Okay. Whether you are in P Gurus or you're part of Gunner Shot listener who are onto this, tomorrow you want to hear an interesting take on the collapse of China, Rajiv and I are going to discuss, and our approach is very simple. He is going to give a presentation, I'm going to give a presentation, and then we are going to compare notes. I don't know what he's thinking. I know what I'm thinking. That's the way we are doing it. Absolutely blind. Okay. Then, of course, they want this deep water port and all this nonsense. Now, China is unlikely. Look at this. China, everyone says, oh, China is going to put this junta down and all. It can't. It doesn't have the capability to do so. China unlikely to pull the carpet on junta and accept resistance groups, olive branch. So why? One has to understand this also. Then these are not resistance groups. These are all ethnic armies. They are ethnic armies who are dominant in their areas. With the money they have, they're protecting their turf. They don't have the capability to go and rule Myanmar, nor will they be acceptable. It is something like, Maitis and Nagas and Kukis in Manipur. No one is acceptable to the other. So if Maitis, Nagas and Kukis are not acceptable to each other, how can all these Kachins and Karens and all these people be acceptable to each other to rule Myanmar? It has to be the Myanmar army only, Bamars, who are the majority, and who control the rest of the economy, who control the ports, everything, and they have a network, and it's an organized army with fighters, navy, everything, and they're pretty strong, And there, incidentally, the Tatmadaw or the Myanmar army does not have its own weapons. Yeah, it doesn't have Chinese weapons. It has Russian weapons, Russian tanks and Russian frigates. So one has to understand, even they are very clear. They want to play off Russia against China, China against India, India against Russia. So that's another game which is going on. It's a very complicated state. I mean, people don't understand. We just talk, oh, get democracy in. Yank will say, get democracy in. Democracy has got no value in Myanmar. It will never have value. For the past 75 years, it has not had a value. It will not have value ahead. Right? Okay. So, 3 years after the coup, is the clock finally running out? How will it run out? Because China can't pull the rug out under the Janta's feet. So, nothing is going to happen. Everything is going to be the same. Okay. China brokers ceasefire. So you see Chinese press, one newspaper, South China Morning Post. It's given you 5 versions of the story. China for Janta, China against Janta, China for rebels, China against rebels. They are also confused. Their impotence is coming through in these 5, 6. I mean, I very purposefully took these out because each headline gives you a different story. Okay. Well, what is this complete story all about? It's for drug revenues. There's no talk of democracy. There's no opposition unity. All groups are based on tribes. All have their interests. No unity. Tanpandaw is well organized and well funded through all sources. It does not want other centers of power to become too big. Every article you read on this whole story will say, oh, this is likely, but Tatmadaw is very strong. It's not easy to this thing. It has weathered far worse problems. China has its own problems. It does not want to get into Myanmar and fight in difficult terrain. And the problem will endure. Okay, now let's come to India. Now, of course, I've shown you this. So this is the cake. between the Metis, and this is how the whole thing started in Myanmar. People have to understand, why did this whole problem start? It was not any ethnic rivalry. Suddenly, the Metis and the Cookies, right? And of course, I won't say the common Metis and the common Cookies, but all these groups and all the armies which float around in the northeast. Every street corner has an army. Four chaps form an army, right? One chap goes down, it becomes a group, resistance group. So that's how it is in the northeast.
Four is an army, three is a group.
That's how it is. And and everyone wants autonomy or independence or anything. Whatever comes to his mind, he'll talk, right? And anyone who knows how to draw a flag, he'll have a flag, and tomorrow it's up. But everything was in balance. Everyone was having their cut and everything. When the poppy economy started, till the time it was only chemical supply to Myanmar, things were stable. In fact, Manipur was reforming. But
I think you meant Manipur, sir. Chemicals, sir. I think you meant chemical supply through Manipur.
Yeah, through Manipur. Manipur to Myanmar. Sorry, yeah, Manipur to Myanmar. By both these groups, both the Kuki groups and the Meitei groups, both are involved in it. Let's be very clear. Okay, there's no one. दूध का दूल्हा हुआ कोई नहीं है, right? ना सर्फ का सफेदी है उधर. Okay, so when the Meiteis, the Cookies started cultivating poppy, because cookies are in the hill areas and poppy is grown in the hill areas, not in the valleys. These poor Meitei fellows who are in the valleys, they saw, oh, those chaps are making money out of poppy cultivation. Then they started hungering for land. Suddenly they said, oh, we need land. Why do they need land in the hills? To grow poppy. I mean, you see the connect. You think poppy will, in the hills you grow rice? You can't grow. Those hills don't grow rice. You can grow fruits out there. But all the militants in that area have stopped completely eradicated the orange cultivations there. That area has some of the best oranges in the world, incidentally. Not many people know it. Okay. They stopped everything. The government of India, I mean, you can keep cursing the Congress government, but let me tell you what the Congress government did. They promoted orange cultivation. They put up factories for orange extraction so that the whole circle is there. All these militants went and closed it. Okay, and now they have replaced it with poppy. Where oranges grow, poppies also grows well. These are all terrain factors. So now the ethnic rift started in Manipur. Land. And then XYZ. Then it became Hindu. It became, all this nonsense which we've been talking of. But the fundamental problem is this. Okay. You look at this. This orange, the gray part is where generally is the valley area. And this is where the Metis are concentrated. The green part is generally where the Cookies are. And the yellow part is where the Nagas are. So far, the Nagas have not come into the story. Don't think the Nagas are not involved in drug running. They are also involved in it. But for some reason, this problem has sprung up between Cookies and Metis. Okay. Now it has taken a different turn. That's a different story. You see, this is the dialect there. Now, what's happening there now? Now, there is a clear divide between Cookie area and Methi area. One can't transgress the other. If they transgress, firing starts. The Manipur police tried to get into the Cookie areas, they get ambushed. Then once something like that happens, some flare-up takes place in Imphal. Then this Aramboi, Tengol, they have come into the loop. Today now, from being a civil organization or a civil group, now they have now become almost a militant group. The other day in Kangla Fort, which is the heart of Imphal, okay, they caught hold of all MLAs and they said, you take an oath as per Aramboi Tengol, that you'll uphold Metis rights, etc. But then we don't know what this oath is. Reading that oath will be interesting. I'm waiting for someone to send it to me. It will come. Okay, and that I'm sure that some parts of it will be against the constitution and the allegiance to India. And You find that all these revered MLAs and MPs and all are bowing down to that. And it is happening right in Kangla Fort. So what is this government doing? And the same chief minister under whom this Manipur state has existed now for 9 months in this strife from May to now. Okay. Has he improved the situation? No. Then why is he continuing? That's a question, big question. It's nice to construct Ram Mandir. But how is it that the same people are not getting peace into this area? And this is the area where Arjun went historically into this Manipur area. Those of you who know Mahabharat, who read Mahabharat, please read. He went there, Arjun went there. And this Manipuri dance is absolutely based on, or classical dancers of the Yor. Or today you want to fence that area. When you fence the area, you are stopping something called the free movement regime, which is a thing between the tribes that they can go 15 kilometers either side. They can carry a head load. They can marry across. So the moment the announcement has been made that we'll make a fence, the Nagas are up in arms, the Metis are up in arms, not maybe the Metis, the Kukis are up in arms, and the Mizos are up in arms. And then there's an overflow from there to here. People are coming here, and then they're being handed back. So it's become a muddle. But at the end of the day, I showed you that thing, no? Yeah. I showed you this.
Yeah.
This is not stopping. This is increasing. This is increasing. It is like water flowing under the bridge. I mean, the way I look at it, this drug economy is like the Saraswati River which is flowing underneath. It will surface at the bottom. It has gone underneath. Everyone knows it. So, I mean, at some point of time, I think all of us, me included, I am the only guy who talks like this. Get me another guy who talks like what I have spoken today. Okay. And you look at this. We are talking of also Naga area there. The Naga areas are there. Now, any day now, if that fence comes up, the Nagalim issue will come up. And Nagas are either side, on other side in Myanmar and our side. And they want a greater Nagaland which encompasses half of Manipur. Who will appease them if that goes into flames? If you think some treaty or something which we have signed with this NSC and AM works, it will not work. For 75 years, it's not worked. It will not work for the next 75 years if we don't use our sense. No, Kuki, Zo, Chin, Mar. These are, all the same tribes. They exist in south of Manipur and into Mizoram. Mizoram is already in problems now, slowly. So it leaves Metis in this in between belt, which means split of Manipur. Are you prepared to accept all this? So you have a problem. China has a problem. The good thing about this whole story is China has a problem. They can't make headway. They are fingering this issue, but they can do only this much. So if I were anyone in the government of India, I will say, use all these groups to go and finger China the way they are fingering you. You must. I mean, very simple. Only then.
Maybe that's what is happening, sir. Maybe that is what is happening.
We don't know. I don't know. All I'm saying is I'm giving free advice. See, in any channel like this, I can give free advice which I'm giving. So we should. Why spare them? Right. So I think we need to have. Yeah, I think this was the last slide. Right. Yeah, we're done with the slides, Sachin. You can take it off.
Thank you. General Ravishankar. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, your questions. I'm open to questions. Yeah.
The only question that I had was, I think you've answered that question. It's all drugs. We've been saying this also through various people. The unfortunate outcome of all this stuff is this going to be continuing even post the 2024 elections? And is that because it's all about drugs?
Yeah. Why will it not continue? Look, Let me be very honest with you. I commanded a brigade here in this area, next to it, in a place called Haflong, which is actually the epicenter of all activities in Northeast is Haflong. Anyone who knows that area will tell you that. And I was sitting right in the center. And I dealt with all kinds of problems out there. Bangladeshi groups, Chinese, not Chinese groups, the Manipuri groups, Ulfa, the Word, Muslim, everything. There are some Muslim groups also there, right? It's a very interesting place. Drugs, everything. We knew drug running was going on. We knew arms thing was going on. We were getting good catches. We are lot. My chaps were on the road 24/7. But we still knew 80% was evading us. But in 2006-7, the volumes were not so much and the costs were not so much. Today, we are talking of some astronomical number. Now, instead of solving the major problem, you are into a political game. You are fighting for something else. So as a result, this water is flowing under like Saraswati, right? So why will it stop? Because it suits every party there. Unless you have a major economic plan which can wean away people from this economy. I've already told you what happened in the orange cultivation and its destruction. Let me narrate a story anecdotally. One day there's a place called Hangrum, which is in my area of responsibility. So one guy came from there, and one Gaon Buddha came from there and gave me a basket of oranges. So I took it. You don't refuse him. I gave him some ram sham and what he wanted. I sent him. I tasted the oranges. Oh, fantastic. Then I asked, where do you get these oranges? He says, so this entire belt is oranges. And these oranges are grown in 3 parallel ranges which go into Manipur and then beyond the Manipur Valley. So I said, yeah, this is a great thing. Why doesn't someone put up a factory out here and, have pulp and, so many things can be done, orange juice and all. So next day, the DC there said, sir, come with me, I'll take you. He took me. And mind you, that factory was 1 kilometer from where I was staying. And every day I used to pass by that. I never saw it because weeds had grown over it. That entrance was locked. I always thought some gate for nowhere. And I opened, there's a full factory lying with absolute packing equipment, state of the art. I'm talking of 2007, 2006. Why? The other economies were stronger than the legit economy. So you need to have political will, you need to have unity of people, and ensure that the legitimate economy and development, where people can study, we talk, everyone talks as if all those people are waiting that, you'll come and educate them. People should understand the complete Hindi books in the library in Imphal were burned long back. Hindi movies were banned in Imphal when I was there in 2006, 2007. I don't think it has changed so far. Right? So there's a different story which is happening out there which we should understand. You need to get education out there. And you need to do so many things. And they're very intelligent people. They're sportsmen like Mary Kom, Sanmacha, Virender, all hockey player. All these fellows are from there. Manipuris. Absolutely talented. Why are we not using them? Why are we not putting up sports facilities out there? Instead of dividing people, we should integrate them, make them play, make them, get into education.
Take the aggression out on the sport.
Yeah. No, I'll give you something else. You go anywhere in Chennai, okay? There are a lot of these fancy saloons which have come up, chain of saloons, haircutting, styling, and all. 50 to 60% of the staff, I'm sure it's in Bangalore and Pune and all these places. 50 to 60% of the staff are from Northeast. I go and talk to them. Where are you from? Sir, I'm from More. So I talk to them a little about More. He's very happy. Right? No, They come here, and when I ask, what do you do? Sir, there's no naukri there. They come here, they are disciplined, they're intelligent, they do a fantastic job. Cooks. So many cooks are from that area. Nurses. Youth in that area don't have a place to study. They don't have a place to prosper. They have to come far away in Tamil Nadu and Bangalore and such places to prosper. You'll be surprised. Half or more than half of them know fantastic Tamil. You talk to him in Hindi, he'll talk to you in Tamil. We have missed the trick completely. I don't mind saying it in any forum. I have said this on the first day when I had a video on this in Gunner Shot. All those people who are watching from Gunner Shot will answer this. Will watch for it. Right? Yeah.